Do you ever feel lost, like the world makes no sense? The truth is, without historical thinking, it really doesn't make sense. Oh no, you think you're talking about history again. Boring. If you think history is boring, it's probably because no one told you how much it's messing with your life right now. I'm here to tell you, but fret not. I have 7 healthy habits to develop your historical consciousness. In this video, I offer the first habit of the 7, curiosity. Hi, I'm Liam, a retired history professor who enjoys working in my shed. I often discuss historical consciousness because it's the greatest gift that studying history can offer. I refer to it as a superpower or the secret sauce of engaging with history. Historical consciousness refers to living with a constant awareness of how the past influences the present. To be historically conscious is to live humbly, gratefully, and responsibly in time, remembering the past, reflecting on the present, and, well, preparing for the future. We all have some awareness of the past, but it can sometimes feel overwhelming or just hard to learn history deeply enough to become happier, healthier, and more confident. Is that possible? Think of historical habits as processes to put in place, allowing yourself time to integrate them. You may already have some of these habits or be able to adopt new ones, which may then lead you to others. These habits include curiosity, filling knowledge gaps, reading widely, embracing the golden rule of storytelling, prioritizing history, and seeking to expand your understanding. Each habit takes time to explore, so this is the first installment in the series, 7 Habits of Historically Conscious People. Today we'll begin with developing curiosity. So let's get started. To be curious, we must be present with people, both living and dead, yes, and dead, and give them our genuine, careful attention. Interesting stories occur all around us, but often we fail to notice them. We hear people say intriguing things, but we rarely think twice because we're too focused on our own agendas. I speak from personal experience here. I often get so caught up in my own projects of becoming obsessed with my own problems that I neglect to notice those around me. This applies to history as well. We cultivate curiosity by being present, which means giving our full attention to others. Years ago, I asked my father to share his memories of his childhood in the 1920s and 1930s. He began talking about the neighborhood grocery store owned by my grandfather. My dad worked at the store after school and on weekends. While describing the store, he just happened to mention, there was a gas station across the street where Charlie pumped gas. My father laughed at that point and added, yeah, the old men always talked about him while they sat around the stove, wondering where he got all his money. That was the end of that. He then continued with his story. I interrupted. Hold on, Dad. What about Charlie? Was he rich or something? My father replied, oh no, nothing like that. I probed further, asking, well, why did they wonder where his money came from? I remember my father pausing, lifting his shoulders and eyebrows while pushing out his lower lip, a ritual he performed before answering. Well, he said, I guess it was because Charlie would close down the station for a few minutes at noon every day to come across to the store. I was puzzled, but I was curious. Why did that make the old men think he was secretly rich? Did he load up on groceries or something? Dad made a shushing sound, a sign that he was amused. No, he just came into the store and bought one thing, a 5-cent bottle of Coca-Cola. He'd pull it from the ice chest machine, use the bottle opener, and drink it right there in the store because he didn't want to leave a deposit on the bottle. Then he would go back to the station. Well, I learned a great deal about the Depression era habits from what we had talked about so far, but a pressing question remained. But why did the old man think he was rich? Did you think he was rich? His reply was, "Oh, I didn't think he was rich. I just thought he was wasteful, I suppose." I was still confused. "But Dad, he left the bottle. How was he wasteful?" He explained, "Things were different then. The old men thought it was strange that anyone would spend a nickel every day on a Coca-Cola. And it wasn't just the nickel, Liam, it was the fact that he was an addict." "What?" I exclaimed. "I thought they stopped using cocaine and Coca-Cola by that time." Dad shook his head. "Yeah, of course you're right about that. But we thought it must be an addiction for anyone to do something as silly as drink a soda every day. Why throw away a quarter or 30 cents a week on sugar water that could also rot your teeth?" In that moment, the past came alive. I was not only present with my father, but I felt like a door had been opened to me. I could visualize the old men sitting around the stove, looking through the store's front windows, watching Charlie across the street. "Here he comes again," I imagined the red Coca-Cola ice chest, lined with galvanized metal, filled with ice, and little green bottles capped with red and white. Those bottles were treasured for special occasions or celebration, I guess, as well as refreshment. A bottle of Coke would cost nearly $1 today, which seems almost insignificant now, but during that time of scarcity, even enjoying a daily soda felt extravagant. This was the Great Depression, which shaped my father's life and influenced his habits, attitudes, and actions. He never wasted anything in his life. Leftovers were a staple. Saved boxes, hoarded fuses, and he made sure paper was used efficiently. When my grandfather passed away, we discovered boxes of Prince Albert pipe tobacco tins that he had saved, along with huge balls of rubber bands. Hearing the story of Charlie, the Coca-Cola addict, helped me make sense of my father's and my grandfather's peculiar behaviors. It became clear that spending money was seen as irresponsible and extravagant if it was not maximized. This was a gold mine of information for me. It deepened my understanding of why my father was the way he was, which also allowed me to better understand my own story. I struck upon this rich vein of insight by exercising curiosity, which required me to be present and in the moment. Because I was paying attention, I picked up on a seemingly strange remark about a gas station attendant. I gained a profound insight not only about my father, but also about how history impacted my family. So, curiosity is an essential habit in developing the superpower of historical consciousness. To develop curiosity, we must be present with people, both living and dead, and give them our genuine, careful attention. In my next installment in this series, we're going to mind the gap, as they warn on the tube in London. The gap is in our knowledge. And we're not just going to watch our step. We're going to develop the habit of closing the gaps in our understanding, almost painlessly and effortlessly, I might say. So join me. And if you enjoy these little videos, like, comment, and subscribe. Are you curious about that? Me too. They say it helps other people who want to find this content reach us. It also encourages me to keep doing this when I feel like quitting. It's like Winston Churchill getting up in my grill and saying, "Never give up, never give up, never, never, never." See? Knowing a bit of history makes a big difference.